And we are live. I am here with my buddy Stacy Brown Jr. What's up, Stacy?
What's up, man?
Yeah, not much, man. Just try to figure out this whole paranormal road trip thing. It's going to be crazy. It's really just now starting to kind of establish itself, if you will. Like we're just now starting to figure out what the hell we're going to be doing and where we're going. So yeah, this is cool. I like this part. I like the pre-production part where we like figure things out.
I like it and I hate it because our list of places to go is large and it unfortunately cannot be all of these places, and that's what really sucks because I really want to visit all of these places.
Yeah. So our plan at this point is Stacy's going to fly up here to Maine, and then we're going to start driving south from here. I guess our destination, if you will, is going to be in Nashville, Tennessee area. So between here and Nashville, there are a ton of really amazing places to go, and it's like I don't know how to push them all into a 7 day period.
It's gonna. Well, maybe we can ask these people what they would like to see. You know, if they were gonna tune in and watch it, would they? What places we got to go? Because I got a pretty good list here of spots we should stop at.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of starts off here in Maine. I want to hit someplace up here in Maine. I really haven't decided where, but I definitely want to hit someplace up here in Maine. Even if it's not even a full night, but I just kind of want to start here since we're here. And then from Maine, I want to head south. And man, I really want to take you and everybody watching to the American Stonehenge. For me, that's like one of the coolest places I've ever been. It is absolutely just.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. You just making sure we are live.
Yeah, I was making sure everything was working right on all the platforms.
Yeah, it looks like we're good. But I'd love to take you to the American Stonehenge, dude. It's a cool spot. It's legitimately 3,000 years old. And it has a sacrificial table in the middle. I mean, it's a cool spot, dude. So, but that's something we can hit up during the day. We don't have to like actually stay the night there. So, I personally would like to make that one of our destinations on the way. And then next, I would like to get to the Conjuring House and maybe Lizzie Borden House. What do you think of that?
The Conjuring House, man, that's I've been wanting to go there since it's became available.
Right.
And I haven't had a chance. I think while we're in there, see, that's another problem because like all these places are closed that you're talking about with Lizzie Borden, the Conjuring House, and then the Freetown Forest. I want to go back to the Freetown Forest because of what happened last year.
And what are you talking about specifically? Because a lot of people here, they don't know what we're talking about.
We went to the Bridgewater Triangle last year and did an investigation. And, a lot of things happened on that trip that were kind of unbelievable. But we went and got a remote viewing session from a witch. And she said in the meeting that she was talking to me in the interview that I was going to come up on a boundary and to stop. Don't go further. Freetown Forest, we pull over at a spot, some transmission lines, where the yellow gates are. I went past it not thinking twice. I was just going to go down there for an hour?
Yeah.
And sit down the road a little bit and walk up on a goat sacrifice. And how many people told us about the occult activity in the Freetown Forest?
Oh, a ton of them, man. That's what that thing is like most known for. You know what I mean? It's occult activity. Dude, there's all kinds of crazy stories associated with that place in the occult.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then we were hearing voices. Okay, the goat was one thing, but what were the voices? Why were we hearing this like mumbling? And it wasn't coming from just one spot. And you'll see us react to it on camera. It's coming from all over the place. You know,
Absolutely.
That's been bugging me since we left. Like, just that trip in general. I no longer believe things happen by chance. Because even like with the Mayaka investigation that you came down to, well, what were the chances that all that, and you know, it was like second you got here, we just kind of announced at that diner that we were there, and then here's a report, hey, come to my house, blah, 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 and it just all happens, and it culminates in us actually having a sighting of the thing. What were the chances of that? What were the chances of going up there and this woman telling me, specifically me, don't walk past the boundaries. If you come up on a trail and something's stopping you, don't go past it. Right. I honestly thought she was snake oil, you know, selling BS. And looking back on it, it was true.
Yeah, because when you went past that thing, you didn't go far. You only went, 100 yards probably?
100 yards, and then I went into the woods, and the thing was right there in the woods. Like, what was the chances I was going to turn off the road right at that spot?
Right. You know? Yeah, it was legit. Yeah, and I didn't even know what the hell to think about it, man. We rolled up on a dead goat in the middle of the woods. Like, I was like, how was this thing even killed, you know? So we rolled the goat over, and it was lying in a big pool of blood. So we were guessing that it had been stabbed or something.
Yeah, there had to be, I know I'd seen what appeared to be one puncture wound. But, I mean, maybe there was multiples. Some of the stuff on the neck was kind of dry, but I just remember saying to you and Corey that nobody's going to believe this. I was like, that's like, dude, they're actually going to think we killed this goat. What are the chances?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that was it, you know, and I've been wanting to go back ever since.
What do you want to do there? Like, I know you want to go back, but what is it specifically that you want to do?
Well, there's just so much. I think it's more in the Freetown forest, even though I do think that's great habitat for Bigfoot. I think this is more something else, some kind of paranormal. You know, maybe people in the forest. This activity from the cult. They're bringing stuff. I don't know how you would say it. How you put it? Maybe they're conjuring stuff up.
Well, you know, there's this experiment that I'm kind of researching and kind of part of a possible show about. It's called the Phillips Experiment. So basically, back in the 70s, a bunch of these parapsychologists got together and they were like, all right, we're going to try to conjure something. We're going to try to like invent a spirit and then give it a name and give it a history and give it like presence. You know what I mean? And they did that. They went in and they basically created this fake spirit named Philip, and they talked so much to it and created this thing that actual paranormal activity started happening based on the history that they gave this fake spirit. So if we can actually conjure up a spirit just by like thought, maybe that all these actions that these folks have done there as far as like the occult stuff, maybe that's kind of heightened the activity. What do you think?
You know, that experiment's always been something that's intrigued me, because can you actually manifest your own destiny? People say you do, you know, that if you're thinking about something enough, you manifest it. And that's probably a great example of that. You know what I'm saying? So maybe, I don't know. I've been trying to do a few things, and I ain't had no luck with it, but maybe we need a few people. You know, maybe there's something that can be performed that would bring something up. I mean, I haven't seen a demon before in my life, but if somebody claims they can conjure one up, I just want to watch the process.
Yeah,
I want to see it work. You know, I mean, if it decides to go home with me,
I got an extra room.
Yeah.
Yeah, got an extra room, man. That thing can hang out as long as it needs to. Right. But yeah, you talking about demons and stuff. You know, another spot I really want to hit up on our way is definitely Point Pleasant, West Virginia, in the story of the Mothman. That thing is thought to be a demon. And that's a crazy story, dude. Like the whole Mothman thing. I want to dig into that a little bit deeper and look into the demonic side of it.
So, are there still sightings? That's what's always been curious because I've seen people go there and they go to the TNT like bunkers, and they're doing their little paranormal investigations. But are there still sightings in Point Pleasant?
Yes. My cousin, actually, my whole family is from Point Pleasant. That's kind of like what got me into it. Literally, my entire family are from there. And so he has friends that have experienced it fairly recently. I'm pretty sure the story basically went that, this thing came down behind a car and followed this guy out of a car, or not out of a car, but out of the woods behind his car. So, right. People are still having experiences with it. There's no doubt. But I think that it's kind of starting to switch to more of a paranormal kind of thing. There's been a lot of people talking about experiencing kind of like these weird mists that we've even seen at the Conjuring house, like black mists that kind of form inside of those bunkers and move around the bunkers. Yeah, we've definitely had a lot of those types of sightings, and there's a lot of other weird sightings too, almost like portals opening or something, and that's something that fascinates me is the whole portal thing. People say that Bigfoot lives in portals somehow, and I don't know, man. What do you think?
I tell people about Bigfoot. Hey, I know enough to know that I don't know anything, because every time I think I've got them pegged, it's something else. But I do know every single Bigfoot hunt I go on, I take my paranormal equipment. I can't rule out. I've seen the lights. I've seen shadows. That black mist you're talking about. We went to a house that my buddy's aunt owned in Lake Wales, Florida. Well, there was this little pond there, right? In the center of all these houses. It's like a circle road around it, and all these nice old, like, I don't know, old homes, like 2-story houses. And so apparently back in the day, some kid had polio, and his parents put him in this water, and there was like some priest did something with it, and it healed him. So there was this large like movement coming down to this area in Florida, all these people with these ailments, and not everybody being cured, and a lot of people dying right there on like the banks of this damn thing in a tent or whatever. And so we went to this house, and I didn't believe in ghosts. This was my first paranormal hunt. I was joking, having fun. But there was one room in the house that was incredibly weird. You go in the master bedroom, and in the closet, if you walk in the closet and move the clothes, there's a panel in the wall, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's about 3 feet by maybe 2 foot. It's not big. You take that panel out, and there's a room that you can't stand up in. You got to be hunched over, and there's a bench on it, and that's where they would put their children.
What?
Yes. And so that was that's where I stayed the night.
In that room.
In that room. I went in there, lit. You know what I'm saying? I was partying. I was having a good time. I was tore up. I went in there, hit a recorder, and went to sleep. I passed out, went to sleep, slept the whole night. But then I believe I got an attachment that night because I came home and I would see the shadows in my room, like this mist you're talking about. Okay, like it the corners were kind of the darkest spots, and then you just kind of see a dark spot go to the other dark spot. And dude, I remember waking up. Okay, so I sleep with my pistol right here. Right?
Yeah.
Something's in my house. I hear somebody coming in. This has happened to me before. So I'm not a lunatic. Like I've actually had like 2 times I've been asleep, somebody come in my house. So he reached there and grabbed a pistol. So I'm asleep, right? And my girlfriend had been seeing the shadows too, because she up and one day, brings it up. And I'm asleep in the bed, and something pulls me down the bed, like by my leg, right?
Like pulls you towards the end of the bed.
Yes, pulls me towards the end of the bed. Immediately reach for my gun, right? Because I honestly think when I get my gun back to spot, I'm gonna see somebody standing here, you know, because like I'm trying to back up the bed, grab my gun, my eyes are trying to adjust. It's dark. Ain't a damn soul. Well, there may have been a soul there. There wasn't a person there. And I called my girlfriend. I was scared to death. I was like, hey, I'm out of here. You know, because we had some other stuff, like my daughter. She was like 7 at the time. She was sleeping in the bed with me. And in my dream, something had her. Like something had grabbed her and was trying to take her out of the front door. And I was trying to stop it. Well, she screams in my dream, and then I wake up, okay? And I wake up, and I'm looking at her, and she's facing me. And she screams right then. And I was like, so I wake up from this horrible nightmare. I'm like, oh, my God, it's just a dream. And then she screams, and I'm like, whoa. You know, but after the one that grabbed me.
Right.
That night I spent in a Walmart parking lot. I left my house. I was like, forget this. I'm good. My girlfriend worked night shift. I didn't want to stay there no more. We had somebody come in and bless the house. I don't really think it worked. But who knows? But so I go to my landlord and I'm telling him, I'm like, hey man, like for real, you got ghosts in your place. And I said, has anything really messed up ever happened there? And so he tells me that there was an old man and an old woman there, and they had a granddaughter. The granddaughter ended up getting molested by the grandfather. He goes to jail. Grandmother flips out, leaves the house, leaves it full of dogs and cats. Never comes back. And the dogs and the cats can't get out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened. He goes, yeah, if you pull back and look at the floor, it's just stained. There's blood and urine and everything all over the place. So,
wow.
With this whole possession thing, you know, something going with us. I think it's a possibility. You know, I believe it actually was a thing for me for a little while.
Wow. So, do you still feel like you have that attachment? Like, do you still feel like this thing's following you around somehow?
You know, not as much anymore, but like, it's just stuff. It's whatever house I'm living in is the problem. Like, okay, so like at first, like in my laundry room, I had a shelf at the top and it had my BOGOs in them. If I'm buy one, get one free, like peanut butter or, you know, like coffee, things that'll last for a little while.
Yeah.
I had a thing of Maxwell House in the back, okay, and it was unopened, so it's got that little foil across the top. It's got the lid on it. And me and my girlfriend are sitting in the living room watching TV, and we hear something hit in the kitchen floor. And I come out, and it's that thing in Maxwell House in the middle of the kitchen, and it came probably about 8-9 feet from the laundry room. Landed right in the middle of the floor, coffee all over the place. So that's how it was at the beginning, but I don't see the shadows at the house anymore.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem, it's just like this door continues to come open, and for some reason, it's like somebody slaps my window.
That's crazy.
I don't know how to explain the window slap, the door. I don't know. Maybe it's the wind.
All right, so you've had these real experiences, man, and you know, I kind of look at this stuff like I used to look at Bigfoot. Like, we have to be able to prove what we're experiencing for things to change out there in the world, you know, and for people to really believe that these things are happening. So on this paranormal road trip, do you have any suggestions as far as like how we can actually capture this stuff?
The only proof I've been able to get that is like solid for me, you know, is an EVP. That's going to be important for us to do, to run EVPs. Because like when you're looking for hard evidence of these things, what do you do? I mean, like, what actually can you do that's proof? If we're looking for Bigfoot, we can find tracks, maybe get a picture, a video, DNA. But
Right.
you know, with the paranormal, I don't think we're going to be able to find any proof until we understand our reality better. Like
Makes sense.
actually what's going on, because all we know is what we can see, hear, touch, and taste, right? Smell. A few, however many senses we have, you know. Uh,
I guess the question is though, is how do we do that? How on this paranormal trip, how do we understand our reality a little bit better? Do we seek out like psychics and have them help us with that bridge between our reality and something else? Like, I don't know.
well, I mean, mushrooms is always a good way. No, but yeah, I think we should definitely look into maybe some psychics, some mediums. You know, just joining us for an evening. Witches. I'm definitely down for like some witches. That was a cool thing.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, maybe a warlock, because especially like we may not do it this trip, but that mountain where Crowley,
Yeah.
what he supposedly opened a portal up there.
Yeah. So I'll just give them a real quick, story about what this is. So a few years ago, I really wanted to do an episode of Rogue Mysteries up here on the top of Shaw Mountain. There was another group that had went up there, and they told the story of Aleister Crowley and H.P. Lovecraft evidently collaborating. And Aleister Crowley wanted to go to the top of this mountain called Shaw Mountain in New Hampshire because he felt that was the closest place to the gods. And so they went up there and supposedly did a bunch of black magic and tried to conjure up something and create a portal into something else. And so that's what they did. They went up there and basically tried to open a portal. And what's really interesting to me, man, is Crowley says that he opened up a portal back in, like, I think it was 1922 in New York City, and he let this little thing in called LAM, Lam. You can Google it, but basically it is the first picture of a extraterrestrial ever drawn. And so this is 1922. So every extraterrestrial that's ever been seen or documented has looked like the extraterrestrial that Crowley said that he let in through a portal, and he drew its picture. And so the thing for me is, like, either Crowley is legit and he opened that portal and let this thing in, or it is just the biggest coincidence ever that he drew this picture and everything after that looks like this picture that he drew. But the thing that intrigues me the most, dude, is on top of Shaw Mountain, it's really close to where the Betty and Barney Hill experience happened. And so I often wonder if he did open up a portal and let something in, and that's what actually abducted Betty and Barney Hill in 1961. That's just what I think.
Well, dude, like, okay, so if he opened a portal, there's ways we can like scan. I don't know, what does a portal open up in the air? Maybe we have some type of thermal camera, thermal imaging, just kind of running the whole place, seeing us, seeing everything. So if we see any like variant, temperature changes, because you will. And you should, for like one of these like black mist, black shadow things. I would think that they would show up on that. There's all kinds of things we can do to hopefully, prove it somehow. But wouldn't it be cool to go up there and try to recreate it ourselves?
Oh yeah, definitely. We need somebody that knows how to, do magic. I guess it opened up portals. Somebody that's really into Crowley. That would be really cool.
Well, he has the whole religion. Like, I did know a guy who was, and he had the book and all of it. It's basically sex magic, is what, from what I understand, his church is. And we can find people like that. Take us up there. I mean, like, for real, it's a church. We can look them up. We'd be like, hey, let's go up here and recreate it.
Yeah. Tell us about that sex magic.
Yeah. We got beers and pizza.
Right. There'll be a line, dude. But yeah, I would totally love to create that whole scenario. That's what I think that we would have to do. We have to push the limits. You know what I mean? And really be open to whatever may actually happen, because I think that's the scariest part of all, because we don't really know what's on the other side. When we start pushing these limits, who knows what's going to happen, man?
You know, and I don't think there's any reason we shouldn't try certain things. You know, let's just because certain people say they can do this, that, and the other. We conjured a demon. Do it. Let's do
Show
it.
us.
Yes, please, please.
Yeah.
I want to see it. You know, I want to be there for that.
Yeah, man. Like, that's how I feel about it too. Like, I don't mind putting myself in harm's way, because I really want to experience this stuff. I mean, that's the way it was in Bigfooting. I mean, even in Florida, when we went down to Mayaca, we were out in the woods around like every kind of poisonous animal that Florida has to offer. And we were still stomping around in the middle of the night, you know, and we put ourselves in those situations because we do want to experience this stuff.
Right. You know, it breaks up the everyday boringness of life. You know, it gives us something to look forward to. It gives us something we love doing, you know. And if you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly, you know. So go out there, and if you're gonna look for these things, go and do all of it, you know.
Absolutely. All right, so back to our little trip, man. We're thinking a spot hopefully in Maine. I don't know if we'll stay the night, and then either the Conjuring House or Lizzie Borden would be really cool. And then on the way, I want to hit up the Ringing Rocks. Like, I've been there a couple times. I just want to really show it to you. It's literally on the way through Pennsylvania. It's this location where it's a giant outcropping of rocks that ring. You can like hit them with a hammer, and dude, they sound like cymbals. You'll love it. You'll be in there like playing them like drums.
Wow.
Yeah. So the natives really believed this was like a magical place, and they used it for ceremonies and harvesting and stuff like that. It's really cool. It also has a sacrificial table in the middle, and it's known to be kind of a hot spot of paranormal activity, UFO activity. I mean, Bigfoot activity, all of that, dude. All of that is known to happen right there. So I want to swing by there, and then I want to continue heading west, and then we're basically going to cut across Pennsylvania and then into Ohio. And in Ohio, there are a couple locations that I've been to a few times that are absolutely just mind-blowing, and I would love to be able to do like a live feed and really show people what these locations are all about. They're Native American mound places, I guess you could say. So there's the Great Serpent Mound in southern Ohio, and then there's also Fort Ancient, which is just about an hour north of that, and it's right outside of Cincinnati. And so I'd love to hit those two places up. You know, I don't think, you know, we can't really spend a night, but it would be really cool just to stop on our way and check them out. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, the serpent mounds are something else, man.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be hitting up those places, and then we're gonna continue on down towards Nashville. Man, the other day I had a friend of mine. Her name's Michelle. She used to work with me a lot, doing paranormal stuff and whatever. Michelle told me about a place right outside of where she lives. That's an underground city, dude. I want to check that out. For real, I've never been to anything like that. It sounds really cool.
Is there any kind of story with it?
Yes, but I haven't been able to dig it up. This was just a couple days ago that I found out there was actually an underground city right outside of Nashville. So I looked it up on YouTube, and people do go there. People explore the place, and it is a legit underground city. I don't know why it was there, why it was built, none of that. But, you know, this is something we're gonna have to dig into and research and find out, you know, why it's there. But there's buildings and everything down there.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, you can Nashville Tunnel's one of the largest tunnels in Nashville. Cuts a massive path beneath the city center. There's all kinds of stuff going on there.
Yeah, so I think that Nashville is going to be a good place for us to kind of end this, you know, and yeah, and so I want to take 7 days to get from here to Nashville, and on the way there, man, I really want to like talk to people and do as many live feeds as possible, and I want to talk to people about what they want us to do, and maybe stop at a couple of locations where our fans want us to go. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, you know, lay out a list of locations, and you know, do whatever's clever. Do whatever the vote is. Let people vote the day before where we go the next day.
Oh man, that would be kick-ass, dude. That would be really cool to let people kind of decide where we're going.
I mean, of course, it has to be like along the lines of where we're going, you know. But that would be tight, man. That would be cool because we wouldn't really know where we were going.
Yeah. Yeah, Chestnut Ridge is right along there too, and that's an area known for all kinds of crazy stuff, man. Paranormal, like UFO, Bigfoot, the whole nine. So,
Right.
we could definitely hit that up. The Pine Barrens is not that far out of the way from where we're going to be, but it's going to be difficult for us, man, because we're going to try to live feed as much of this stuff as we can. But when we go to places like the Pine Barrens, you've been there. Like I've never been there, but you've been there. You said that there's no service anywhere, right?
Nah, there really wasn't. It kind of. It was such an awesome place, dude. There's a bombing range in there, and a lot of your Bigfoot reports and other otherworldly reports are coming from out of there. So it's like, what are they doing in there? And you could walk in there. Like, I was right there at the border of it, But another thing I love, that was really one of the first times I had been out of the South, is that I could swim. I didn't have to worry about massive alligators just eating me, because they had these cranberry bogs there. And then, I just swam. I loved it. I was there for a week. That place is unique. It just has a feel to it when you get there. I've got a friend, Thomas, who told me if we go down there to hook up with him, he'll show us around. There's one place there. There's a portal. I can't remember the name of it. It's like a Oz's portal or something like that. Apparently some guys went out there and opened some portal to another realm. But dude, there's all kinds of haunted like old towns in there and stuff, like ghost towns.
In the Pine Barren?
Yeah, dude. Like, okay, so there was the Pineys, the kind of inbred people that lived in there, right? And I actually did go to their place, but it's just foundations now. But these people have been living in there for a really long time. After the industry kind of fell out of the Pine Barrens, they found a way to live in there, because that place is hard to live in with the soil. You can't hardly grow anything. The only thing that's growing is like pine trees. Right?
Super acidic, yeah.
Yeah, you can't grow crops and stuff. But these people found a way to live out there. And the gene pool was shallow. The federal government come in there and run them out. The federal government, for some reason, back in the 40s, didn't feel that they had the right to live off the land up there, and they went in and pulled these people out and sent a bunch of them to Philadelphia, making them live in a place that they've never been to. You know what I mean? So there was kind of a little war. They did kill some of them, while they were trying to take them in and stuff. But think like the hills have eyes.
Wow.
Right? So the people weren't hurting nobody.
Right.
The government just found something where they were living that they wanted, so they ran them out. I mean, I can't prove that, but I'm sure there had to be a reason you wanted these people coming out of there.
Right.
You found something, right?
I feel like what's messed up about that is the government never went in and really used that location after they did that to these folks.
No, man. The same thing we do. Like, you'll notice, all of a sudden, a country will need a bunch of freedom, and so we'll go over there and give it to them. And just so happens, we're going to mine lithium or whatever in the same area,
Right. It is kind of how it works, man. We just go in and take whatever it is that we want. It is what it is. But, yeah, I mean, I really want to go check out the Pine Barrens. I had no idea all that stuff was there. All I've ever heard about is the Jersey Devil.
Oh, well, hey, okay, so another thing then, if you haven't heard about this, there was, they called him the Mexican Lindenberg or something like that. This man flew all the way from Mexico to meet some guy in New York. And his plane got turned upside down somehow or another, and he fell out the plane, right?
Oh, wow.
And
he fell out of the plane?
Fell out of the plane, and he hit the ground and died, right? So, I'm not paraphrasing, I just can't remember his name. Hold on one second. Pine Barrens Mysteries. Yeah, so in like 2003, a ton of people saw this guy falling out of the sky, right? They called the police. They thought it was a skydiver or something like that. Yeah, here's his name. I can actually give you his real name. But anyways, all these people seen him falling out of the sky, and dude, they launched like a massive search for this guy. Everybody, they had dogs, they had helicopters, everything looking for him. They had checked the local airfields and all that. But anyways, they've got a monument out there for him, and that's a really cool story because, dude, seriously, all these people seen him falling in like 2003, and there was no missing skydiver or anything like that. So what did the people see? They all said it was a human, and he was flailing as he was falling down.
Wow, that is nuts, man.
And I know the whole history to it. I did like a little, when I was doing the fringe media stuff back when I snuck into America.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too. Like, that was crazy.
All right, but yeah, when I was doing that, we did the Pine Barrens episode, and that was amazing, dude, because like there's the black dog everybody sees. There's a bridge where they hung this doctor. This doctor had became a legend in the Pine Barrens because he was going in and helping the sick, helping these people that lived there. He was black, so they wouldn't let him practice real medicine. They took his license away, wouldn't let him get it, whatever it was. White men wouldn't let him do it, I guess. So he went to the Pines, and he was helping all them people because whether he's got a license or not, this dude is a doctor.
Right.
What he is, okay? He's got to go do something like a doctor does somewhere. And so that was the thing, and they hung him, they killed him, and that man, there's a bridge where you can see his ghost, which is pretty cool because a lot of people have seen that. And then even Blackbeard, people see his dog and the cabin boy because there was some cabin boy curse or something like that.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, so dude, it sounds like we need to go to the Pine Barrens, at least, like, check it out. I think that, we're not going to be able to live feed all this stuff. We're probably going to have to go in and just, like, make little videos for folks, and then maybe upload them after or something. But, yeah, I want to document this thing as we go, but there are going to be things like the Pine Barrens I really want to check out that we can't necessarily live feed. Just tossing it out there for people that are going to be watching along.
Yeah, man, that's the Pine Barrens is a very unique place, and even when you get there, the feel of it, you're in a special place. Yeah,
that's cool, man. I definitely want to check that out. But the fringe media thing that you were doing, I want to talk about that real quick. That was pretty cool. People can actually get online on YouTube and still watch these episodes, right?
Yeah, we only ended up doing a few of them. We were going to do this content that was like this kind of content where we did everything. They were like mini documentaries, like 15 minutes long. Did one on the Georgia Guidestones, which the story to that is nuts, dude. Just like when you find out the real story of that, like,
these stones just showed up, right? They just appeared.
A guy went in there, Mr. Christian, that's what he called himself, and he went there and ordered this stuff because, like, that part of Georgia is like the granite capital of the world. They make the majority of all the world's granite comes from right there. So he ordered these tablets and things to be erected on this one piece of property, and he gave the measurements. He gave what he wanted on them and everything. And so you got to figure there's holes in there. One that's like a sun. You can look through the hole and you'll see the sun at a certain at that time of day for the whole year. It's telling you where it's at. So like all these measurements and stuff that they had to have is nuts. And so He ordered it. It was built. All these people in black limousines and everything came in, did some opening ceremony where they christened it, and then left. And then nobody ever seen him again. And now the place, the county claims they don't own it. The Sussex farm there, they claim they don't own it. It's like you can't find it in the property records as to who owns it. And what it says on there in every single language isn't good for a lot of people, okay? Because it's basically talking about depopulation of Earth, the NWO, and it all coming back down to 500 million people.
Wow.
That's what we have to live in harmonies. We can only have 500 million, which we're at like 7 billion. So a lot of people got to bite the bullet.
Then COVID-19 rolls in.
COVID-19 rolls in, you know. So, and then that place is like, I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but the place is under surveillance. And as we were there, 7 black Army helicopters flew overhead and circled us.
Wow.
You can't pull a permit for if you don't know who owns the land.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that was really nuts. So then I did one on human trafficking. We ended up actually not airing some of that. We had met a girl who was 12 and she had been getting pimped out since she was 7. Yeah, dude, it was rough, man. This girl didn't know anything else.
You have kids, man. That must have messed with your head a little bit.
Oh yeah, dude. It not only angered me, but then to see this little girl who in her mentality is probably like 25. Now she's not 12 anymore. She didn't have a childhood.
Wow.
She spent at this point, if they ever help that child and can turn her around, my hat's off to them. But I don't know, because it's like, okay, hey, you send me to prison to get better, but when I come out of prison, I am prison now.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not a reform system, and so unfortunately for her, and that was pretty cool because I did go to a pimp's house. He was 27. He showed me about $10,000 in cash that he had. There's prostitutes all in the house. I don't even know how these girls are doing this. Like, this is a white kid, 27 years old, and he's pimping, making $10,000 a week, so he's claims. He has the biggest bag of cocaine I've ever seen, which was pretty big. It was like that. I mean, you see it in movies, but you've never seen nothing like that. And that was incredibly nuts, man. It was a scary one, like especially my producer, because he was a square. He's never done none of this stuff. He's never done nothing like, well, hey, we're gonna go break the law, we're gonna go trespass tonight, or whatever you may be doing. Like, I grew up as a poor kid in the South. We had to go do things that were not legal, I guess, to have fun. Like shrooming, when you're young, you're going out in some farmer's field. So, but anyways, he had never done nothing like that, and so he's nervous, bad nervous. This guy's dad, I guess, to scare Dean, because he could see that he was kind of nervous. Like, just barges in, busts in the door, got a shotgun or something. I can't really remember. He's screaming about how to turn a woman out. What you have to do. He related it to gardening.
Oh, sick people, dude.
Yeah, dude. You gotta feed it, you gotta water it, and then you gotta plow it.
Oh, it's so gross.
And I think he had the order mixed up on that. I don't think he actually knows how gardening works.
Did you guys call the cops on these people or something? Like, I feel like
no. I mean,
wow.
that part of town, were they even going to go there? And, oh, hey, there's a pimp in this part of town in Jacksonville. Dude, we had to talk the man into covering his face.
That's just hard, man. That's hard to even like think about. You know what I mean?
And the worst part, there's a little 4-year-old boy running around in his house, and he couldn't even say words yet. He was 4. Had to be 4.
God, man, those people. Yeah, I don't even like thinking about that. But one of the coolest episodes I think that you guys did was when you tried to go from Mexico to the United States, smuggling a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. So there's like 85 suitcase nukes missing from the Cold War. Okay? These nukes put Manhattan out. Completely take it out. They are somewhere in this country. There also may be some in Russia, but there was a Russian agent said they're sitting all in storage units, and there's people to this day ready to hit the button when the word is to go. So back then, Trump had this thing about we needed a wall. I was like, well, let me actually see if we need a wall. Maybe they're going to catch me when I come in. I came into the country.
So you went to Mexico, though. You went to Mexico because you had heard that that's one of the locations of one of these suitcases, though, right?
We just went there, as a southern border coming, because you can't come in on an airplane with this thing. So if they're bringing the nuke from Mexico, because some of them supposedly are in Mexico, all you gotta do is cross the river, right? This thing fits in a 5-gallon bucket inside of a backpack. It was a big backpack, but backpack. And I'm thinking they're gonna catch me because they got these damn Stingray systems where they intercept all phone calls and texts and stuff right at the border. They got dudes riding around on 4-wheelers. All you gotta do is wait till shift change, cross the river. And that water is freezing ass cold. But so then walked to the Greyhound, took the Greyhound to Philly, took the Megabus to New Jersey, and then took the subway to Times Square.
Dude, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Detonated the device. So yeah, we need the wall, man. I'm sorry, you can hate Trump if you want to, but I won't never believe any different, man.
So you believe we need a wall just simply so people can't be doing those sort of things and bringing in like a nuclear weapon or something crazy?
Yeah, why wouldn't we? Because that's it's a reality, man. It's a reality. If somebody wants to, they can do a lot of damage.
That's crazy to think about, man. That is crazy. Oh, yeah, that's nuts. So, so your new projects that you're working on, you just put out a really cool film, the Skunk Ape Lives. Yep. That's basically my 8 years of research, the best of the best. Nice. Oh, well, I say the best of the best, but my favorite, by far. We go into the history. There was an attack in the Okefenokee Swamp that predate any West Coast Sasquatch, sightings. We're talking like 1836 this happened. We talk about that. We talk about the Ocheesy Wild Man. He was a Bigfoot type creature that was caught about 20 miles as the crow flies from where my dad got his footage. Oh, wow. So they caught this thing. They took it to the governor. Governor didn't know what to do with it. They put it in the mental hospital, and it died there and is buried there somewhere as a John Doe.
That's a true story.
That's nuts, man. Do you believe that true? Do you
Oh no,
believe it's
that
true?
absolutely is true. The governor's got it in his note. This actually happened. This wasn't a joke, you know.
Wow.
Like the governor had some thing he wrote down, like journal, diary, something like that. And William D. Blockson, you can access it.
That's cool. That's crazy, man. I know that one of the most realist experiences I have ever had with Bigfoot definitely came out of Mayaca. So there's no doubt there's something down there. There's something to it.
The habitat's good, man. You know, I have a problem with, and it's mainly because I don't know that part of the country that well, but like Washington and stuff, where it gets absolutely freezing and snow for a few months, you can't even go to the mountains. What are they eating? You know, like what would an animal be eating? So you don't have that in Florida.
Right.
You literally eat year round. So like the chance of something weighing that much living in the woods, to me, is far better than subtropical climate.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to say. You know, like you look at Neanderthals, man, and they were pretty much just ate meat. And so if one of these creatures are able to find a way to run down, you know, other animals, maybe. Yeah, but man, it's hard to run in deep snow. I don't care if you got a foot like Bigfoot or not, dude. Like you can't really run in snow. And
Right.
a moose, they're made to run in snow. So like I don't even know how you could catch something. You know, you'd have to have weapons. You'd have to have, I don't know. You'd have to have a way to run these things down. So I don't know.
Ambush, man.
Yeah, true.
That would
True.
have to be the way, like catch them in bottleneck or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see doing something like that. But man, you'd think that we'd see that. You know, I mean, I guess that's the biggest thing for me is like if these creatures are real, let's say Bigfoot is real and he lives up in the Pacific Northwest or in a snowy environment in, I don't know, Alaska. Why aren't we seeing these structures being built? Why aren't we seeing like pathways and trackways and stuff, you know?
How many people are out in these areas?
Right.
You know what I mean? The actual number of people who are not out there, because the amount of traffic on some of them roads will, you know, you'll be like, wow, I didn't think it was all like that. But the people off of those roads, off the beaten path, in the trail, is not really that many. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's possible, but
Nice. So why do you think, Stacy? Why do you think we haven't been able to like get absolute proof of Bigfoot? Why haven't we been able to prove it's real?
I don't believe Bigfoot is what we think.
What do you think it is?
I think Native Americans were right. I think that
About?
this thing can like walk in between worlds. I'm definitely leaning that way. I know it sounds insane. I would have told myself I'm stupid about 4 years ago. But you can't dismiss some of the stuff that's happened. The lights. I think they are the Bigfoot. I think that's why the tracks just stop. I think they can change the way they are. I think they can manipulate their being somehow.
That's a big step, dude. I've known you forever, man. And like you just said, you started off as being one of these guys that just believed that the physical presence of Bigfoot was what we need to look for. Now you've kind of switched, you know, and that's crazy because like I'm kind of feeling the same way. I did this documentary. I'm in the middle of it about what the Native Americans feel as far as like the creatures in the woods. This guy who is the storyteller for the Passamaquoddy tribe said exactly, almost word for word, what you just said. These creatures have the ability to walk between worlds. And they said that they do that just like you and I would go to the refrigerator and get something out of the fridge. It's that easy for them. So, you know, that's one explanation, but it's kind of a far-fetched explanation, you know.
It is right now. But like I said earlier, in 100 years, maybe 50 years, we will understand our reality different than we do now. It's a fact. I don't believe we've learned everything there is here for this like timeline. or whatever you want to call it, like whatever your impression of what's going on. And I say that just because of things that's happened to me. You know, I've never really tried. I would just went and done stuff, but I never really felt like I broke my back out there beating the roads down trying to do what I'm doing. You know, it just kind of happens, and some of the experiences I've had, I'm almost in the thought that this is a simulation. But whatever reality you believe, we're going to understand it differently in 100 years than we do right now, because we did back then. Science is going to change. They're going to figure more stuff out. And until that day, I don't think we'll have even an earthly idea.
Yeah, that's why I think this road trip that we're going on is really important, because we're really going to be looking at everything. You know, we're not going to be looking at just Bigfoot, just cryptids. We're not going to be just looking at like paranormal stuff. We're going to be looking at everything. And you know, that's what it's going to take for us to understand exactly what's going on, because if we just look at one thing, we have really a closed view of what the hell's going on. I think in order to understand all this stuff, we're going to have to research all of it. And that's why I think this road trip is so important.
Yeah, man, it's going to be fun. I would like to, you know, kind of go into the otherworldly stuff, not so much the Bigfoot stuff. You know, I'm still enthralled by Bigfoot, but I don't know.
I want to expand my knowledge too. That's kind of how I look at it, man. You know,
and I can't do it unless I figure some stuff out. I'm just trying to like figure out more of what this life is, you know, what actually we're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. I absolutely agree. And it's important to like look at all this stuff. And I think it's important for us to push the envelope, to like do things that no one's really even thought about doing. Or maybe they've thought about doing it, they've done it, but they aren't willing to like go on camera. Like I want to get those people that are pushing the envelope too, to be able to like help us, you know, hopefully experience something. You know, to me, this road trip is really about learning about all of these things and hopefully experiencing them, you know.
Yeah, you know, and bringing the people along with us. That's going to be the most fun part, is answering their questions. And, you know, I really like that idea about them picking out where we go.
Yeah, me too. I think that'll be really important. It's going to be fun, man, no matter what. And I want to keep doing these little talks and podcasts, whatever the hell you want to call them, and try to like get more people interested in what it is we got going on. And I just want to keep trying to push the narrative that, you know, we need to get out there and learn more about all of this stuff in order to like understand any of it.
Right, you know, and I don't know how we're going to do that. I don't know how we're going to figure it out, but you've got to go experience it. And that's just the way about it. Just
like we used to say, man, boots on the ground, right? Like you got to get out there and do it, man. If you don't do it, you're not going to really know. You're not going to learn at all. But so before we get off here, I try to keep these things around an hour. We've been almost an hour. So before we get off here, I want to be sure everybody knows where they can find you, find your content, you know, watch Skunk Ape Lives, the whole thing.
You can find me, Bigfoot Stacy, on all social media, Instagram, YouTube. I got a ton of stuff, over 100 videos on there. Some of me doing some questionable things. But yeah, Bigfoot Stacy. Everything, the Skunk Ape Lives is on Amazon Prime. It actually just landed like 10 more platforms yesterday from our distributor, so pretty happy about that. And then I got a movie coming out soon, and I just got to drop this, called The Pit. Check it out. It stars Les Stroud. You'll hear about it more soon, but that's about it, bro.
That's awesome, man. I'm excited about The Pit, dude. I've been lucky enough to check it out, and you did one hell of a job putting that together, man. It came out really good.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it came out awesome. But cool. Well, it's been an hour, so we're gonna get off here. And again, just keep watching. Keep watching for these live videos and these chats with Stacy, and we're gonna keep you guys informed as far as what we're doing, and we're gonna get out there on this road trip really soon. We're hoping for. We're thinking the beginning of July. Stacy has some stuff going on up until then, and so we have up until July to really get this thing planned out and rolling.
Yeah, hey, if you got a spot and you're on the East Coast, there's a really cool spot you know a lot about. Hit one of us up, please.
Yeah, absolutely. We're willing to go pretty much anywhere as long as it's kind of on the track that we're trying to drive. But yeah, if you guys got a good spot and you want us to come out there and check it out, be sure to let myself or Stacy know about it. All right, until next time, guys, we are out of here. And thanks a lot for hanging out, Stacy. And I'll definitely see you next time, brother.
All right, later on, bro.
See you later.